Buachi Jako. The conversation free the neck MPP among you no ekushia somewhere yesterday was enrichi and on mobile no my TSS say on my nshishe bia omo hwe nim say on the 19th in a conference now for consideration. One of the key things is that say omo hwe nim say omo flag bearership na bato no by January no one mo edebeba said the bear choka. They've given a plethora of reasons in tia sajuni no omo pese omo konesa. Your take Agyapong Jaku is on record to have said say sebi sa nhihye no penifo de aba no ono no nyanse bi animu. It doesn't make sense. In fact, he describes it as very nonsense. Okay. In plain words, he didn't miss words about it. Well, what's your take on that?
I think Zanka whether a few or hide or Koswanka Yamia but anyway, let me work on it. I think with a political party be a institution on its own, guided by rules, regulations, and as for regulation rules in the woman, and a year. So at this point, NPP as a political institution are going to an election, and they suffered the most humiliating defeat in the history of this country. We saw the anger because of Nemo Moye in the last 8 years. So ordinary, any normal political party will just sit down, review Nema go wrong, Nema and go wrong, and how we are patching Nema. Catch is when you lose power, you don't only lose power, you lose goodwill. The relationship between you and the people, getting disconnected. So patching up means you are reconnecting with the people. So that goodwill will return you. It do can't summer amount for the serious. At this point, MPP by opposition, I haven't seen that particular thing because there seem to be that belligerent posture, that arrogant kind of bit, still a woman form. So that goodwill, I expect a Ghana for extend to them. Sometimes some of the things they complain about are very legitimate. Some people have criticism, several more can be a pass move, but I'm say goodwill and falling to their part because of still sitting on high horses. People will brandish them, move through, necessarily move through power, and then you see that kind of thing. So as a political institution, you need to sit down, review, they go wrong, they go right, and then as a forum. And that include doing the stakeholder engagement. MPP say, or more elections number next year.
Yeah.
As an institution, they have every right to do that. You understand? Because my culture say, we have to share now that now. But the thing is, within the party, consultative process now will go through. Does it include OBR there? Because a leadership in place, and all the right to make such decision. But don't forget that decision, our collective consequences are triggered down to OPR. And the way the question is, decision are people really going to accept it? And for me, from where I sit, say MPP kase or more elections in 2026.
Yes,
January.
31st January.
Now say omo kwa kotoaba ayi flag bearer without going through the process of year to district constituency regional anyway it's a problem. Yes, obi abetimi aka say party is not stable at this time because we they need leadership. Are they telling me say party chairman or your leader? General Secretary is not a leader. Because the president or the flag bearer only become a leader when you are your fence Obama as president.
Yes.
You understand? At this time, I think that the party leadership no need to patch the pieces. No, we're making sure they are able to amend the party to a certain extent. Not election next or because you say Kennedy Agyapong leadership now, last year, na omo campaign for Bawumia. There are the same people in place. So what can't you say? Young Concoto about at this time, it means that the same executive no more for a particular candidate. And there's a particular agenda just to ensure that that wins the elections. All the executive, most of them, about 80% of all the executive were out there, regional chairman and they were campaigning for Bawumia. So what has changed? Do you think that this time around things will change? It's the same thing. So it's the same 2026 or 2020 elections. It's a repeat of it. And that is where a robbery fairness from this whole process. And I'm sure is the reason why Bawumia Jaku is very angry because the normal practice in step by step,
from police
new
station
executive. There is a reason for that. New ones no more will have a leadership ombetimi a year go into the next line. By different people are going to elect the flag bearer. Different people will come as leaders at the constituency. What will be the kind of how ombetimi ajele?
Yeah, but this remains a proposal.
Okay.
And you know, me who the entire was say. I mean,
no, a proposal with a definitive a proposal with a definitive date. What's the date? And the decision.
But that will be affirmed.
Yes.
Congress or conference actually.
And America say a conference.
And the conference can decide that.
Both NPP, you know how they take a decision. And the key people now, affirm or reject this proposal. And they are the very people who so you think they are going to reject it. And for me, I will not take away the MPP right as a political party to decide what they think is right for them.
Okay.
Because a party, whatever they decide to do, they have every right. And some are making
okay.
But sometimes when you are working with human beings in the way, you need to make sure that will be accepted. Sabi I won't spring this surprise because apart from there are several people in the coming days they will come up. Because for me, when I met in China. As a candidate, I may go into election like me, Kennedy Agyapong, and I may any of other people. I will be sensing, say, it might not be justifiable, but I will have the notion, say, idea way there is a ploy. More just to impose a particular candidate on us because these are the people that on more grounds, you know. They are the very people who campaign for Bawumia. They declared for him. You understand? So I think that they need to just ensure, say.
Okay.
In being opposition, get everybody on board.
Okay.
And for me, I think that is what they should be doing because are people who got peeved and they withdrew from the party. And Kawabo oppositioning, these are the time and you engage these individuals. And even with Alan Crown, you see, political party sometimes it's not about assuming a belligerent posture. Sometimes you need to cave in, engage people, and because political parties are about numbers, and these are. So I think that if they are able to another time if they are able to do some of these things, that's another conversation next time.
Maminda was Ivan, a youth activist here, or born in home modern year pa onona. Maminda senior my man akwaba. So they will assume the idea.
Particular documents for evidence sake.
Exactly.
So the mere fact that you be so and I am so no, I don't know. To certain extent for clarity and for transparency purposes, you know. Sometimes privacy is also there.
Yeah.
In the assembly say the to me my way na when your property where your commission na the sankrata na command your kofa your tia no the womb and what you've acquired, you know. For me, whatever value be a womb and the purposes that particular thing is intended to solve, you know, you understand?
Exactly.
So that one day I think and you see part of the process is to me deepen accountability and transparency in our governance system because in the last years I see some individuals decided to capture this particular state, own the state, and even sell the state for their own benefit. You understand? And on I inform Ghana for why, because going forward, you know, certain measures has to be taken just to ensure is the reason why President Mahama making a priority. And I mean, because I declare way in Rule 65. That is a lie. I think that he should check his fact very properly before he says anything about that, because Nipa na first estate, fourth estate, declare this our list no crab you know. There were a lot of them are not more declared that by mistake, and I think so mudi a course. And those are President Man deadline. I think that some sanctions have been meted to them. Salary, no. I think that the first 3 or 4 months for me that is enough to start with. You understand? And you see, these is, you know, are the implementers of the larger government policy at the local level. You understand? Very often, no, any attention or her. But these are key individuals. Amongst no, say abaye no, jumadina odino, abek can't nipa no more grounds now. It's the DCs. There are some people in your DC and not being some pie no boy, and abamano, and I say wabre party reward na insaka. So very often you see most of them, the DC man, no across them, no across white, near 2 powder good. So, but this is a responsibility as our It's not an opportunity. So we fear and so baby. So these are some of the things that we need to inculcate into the people. Understand. Say fine. As part of the process now, starting property be our will behind declare. And you see, there is no law anywhere just say, what if you auto papa you can be DCE. You understand? The law says what you have declared. If you don't have, there is no problem. So the fact that independent and a few papa and yet enough to ban the person from taking over public office. You see, it's unfortunate say there is this mindset within our politics. Answer now, you need to own an estate. You need to own a fleet of cars and then as a form. But governance leadership has nothing to do with an individual wealth. You understand? Because I vision and driver. So very often out there, the very people are leading a live legacy na nkasa normally they don't even have anything because Kwame Nkrumah about Nkrumah in a bag in a buy he didn't have anything. I think that the plain fair crowd about obi na chairman no na wo pobia what me leave a lasting impact, a footprint on the political history of this particular country. Kwame Nkrumah ne dan wa he the estate dan wa he. So the fact that obi tin na nancha and as for I don't know, doesn't matter. You understand? For me, I think that the most important thing is making sure that corrupt practices over the years and at the district level and as a form you making sure that there will be proper and punitive sanctions that are available. Say immediately now. I don't like this practice of just buying for back and within the government now there must be systems in place. A bit me, I felt I check some of these individuals over the years. I'm a corruption and as for your rampant. See to me, yes, I need money. I check is I need money. For me, I think they bet me. I boy, I'm a fight corruption to quite a because I never acquired DNA Ukruma has to do with some of these things because people think that we need to be in power because the party the alliances and the relationship will be Madam for the president in Ametia. They don't think that they are accountable to the people. For me, I think that this whole asset declaration thing is important, but it doesn't mean that enough for me give us a closure to corruption. We need to strengthen measures going forward. What are other measures that be good place just to ensure say nipa no former abide our power now will make conscious effort to deal with the individual. So we have send a message to everybody out there. Say, there are structures in place dealing with issues of corruption. So we are government appointee. The mere fact that what doesn't mean say you get away with it. You understand? So I think that these are some of the things that we need to ensure. And the other anti-corruption measures so the government need to strengthen because and that is what we need to guard against this time around. Examples in the Ghana for farm in the last few years. And about to na Ghana for the Koto Abano. So Ghanaians will not tolerate any justification and I say any all that they want to see is that the purse of the state, will be protected from individuals attempt to say almost stealing from the coffers of the state. And some of these measures may not be enough, but I think total commitment on the part of the president and government just to ensure or go after this individual and now setting up some of these things. You were told and do confirm clear on our mind.
I mean that was it. So look,
Doc,
we also be we are just only number 286.
No, I'm
Article 286. Clear. I don't understand any maybe.
What a constitutional provision. Exactly. Not the Yafina or my Benin too for Crow also. Or the Babat Beno Yabin. So because we declare as a tear, Jakosha envelope Bimono. And no, let's say one declare because we are going to it is or your public officer, everything must be clear. Now, you see the BIA car, you share assets in Kwano.
Liabilities,
liabilities count.
But the constitution is clear on that.
Also, we declare assets and liabilities. Catch it in the would you fashion young boy, so much was would declare more. Obia Bobesia will bank the Colombia MMDC. One function or Betica.
And their properties regarding not even quiet in their names.
Family members. Obi will crow with the property and anticipation. What was a mess?
Apart from that, Mitiwe, we will die back. I don't know actually.
Just
Mazu, I see a man 1 month over. Say prepare asset in February.
I think there must be a way to verify.
No, constitutional provision has to be verified.
Yes.
If beyond that, also we evaluation be I say, yeah, sound your money now, you copy free a man on it. But ye did man. the ono de be ya adwuma na nkasa ono be bitie nti obe de no akasa obi so fanya adwuma eno ne problem no yes ya womrani nyina look sa constitution ya da de bia nsi amendi omo yes sa constitution in such a way say be reasonable person leading this country, reasonable people manning our institutions, send you be ya omo de periphery be ya adwuma but nan saying in your make see actually say oba ho yi si ya fa nyuma be bira keka ho a enkofu bi ba omo nya reasonable won tia na we kofu do be ka kire say nyame so nda so nkosi cathedral to atamo mani sika nkosi cathedral motetia na president bia ba be ka kire say nyame aso nda say won chanyi mu nyina to noe obi chanyi mu ti o see legislative say no president should change any human being to a no yes on babe
solo
omo nye so enti eye clear omo beni adia wake 15 July wa more enough time
enough
I think say ndro no this bia be say wudi wiaye no no watumi atro na wode kwa head ne koye enye de betija nye na NSA National Service Authority atija
yes
me see ndro ya me wona me bank ba ko bi send me say huri ade ya omo capital ya omo kuta no omo nya shareholder this can be abeka ho akodu say ya amo musika nyina omo nyina akodu 548 million I swear but the text message in chiro obetwa me twam tro na omo kasa na click me say na 548 no this can yes go for yakofo national service and I say ka ebie bank eso se sa bank no Mr. already what you read the second best last by the second best what do you bank na free
oh okay I say we have noticed that some instant pay transactions made to
no the second one last but one message is called the last but one
dear valued customer, some exciting news for you.
Some exciting what?
News
for you.
Our shareholder is injecting an additional $35 million. Taking bank Ghana's bank in the member. Ghana's capital well above 548 million Ghana cedis.
Fantastic.
This will boost our lending capacity.
This will what? Boost. Bank, you know, catch them say exciting news. The exciting news is say when you shareholder ni ba kwa, what the $35 million become musika Ghana. Na only science or music or money include your cast of masters and so on. I don't count you know. Pen or mutual crack of master to Bemanaqua could do 548 million Ghana cedis some coins.
Beyond the threshold, crowd.
What does it? Now, Mimiti Coman, your catch of the National Service in Totofe, one church, or which woman, so much cana, or maybe we are yet 548 million Ghana cedis, according to the Attorney General.
Yes.
That's a second, no, any sub banking, and the so banking for, but this bank is considered as one of the biggest banks, you Krumwa. National Cathedral, $58 million. All the funds say the rate here 10 cities, say. And 580 million.
Yeah.
And no soon see we. And also am I another first class bank. SML between 2018 to 2024. Offer 1 billion and also can be 2 banks. Kaya another banks. Here kwe ni muno no.
Cathedral.
Ayi Pualugu die you combine with bank we no so mo call London akwakọ ye stock exchange here and nkwa almost 24 million.
Asset no so.
And it asset a year king and the same go for to me. Ever said this if one no muntie di o man pedi kan yi.
Okay.
Ye ne mo na team potemu. Mo fire ni.
Okay.
Abayi makachi am say for one of the former administrators of your friends say common fund. They should assembly common. And adam me no bia wa progu islegal. Me kwa kire mu. Hey!
And I'm not chasing.
This is almost getting free a common fund never.
Yeah, that's it.
How much is it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you say, Undibre, Intino.